You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
You ever hear of test driving a phone network? Well, US Cellular is letting you test drive their nationwide 5G for free. Try out US Cellular wherever you have spotty service. Your commute to work, that one spot in your house where your service dips. It's as easy as doing a little beep boop pop boop pop with your phone. That's the buttons. That's the noise they make. Anyways, test drive US Cellular's nationwide 5G coverage for free for 30 days. Just download the Try Us app. US Cellular, built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com/try us.
You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. Please don't mind all the smashing and clanking. That's just my child bursting into the office. Reminds me of that scene in The Office. Dwight, I don't even remember the context exactly, but Dwight's like, I love catching people in the act. That's why I always fling open doors. Michael just goes, yeah, me too. Let's go. Always just flinging open doors. That's my kids. Got to make a grand entrance. It's like the frickin' SWAT team kicking down my door. Anyways, why don't we go ahead and get started with Garrett from Southern Illinois?
Hey, Ryan. I guess I'm just going to keep adding to your homework for this summer.
Oh, boy.
I had a thought regarding our defense when it comes to how many players we have drafted from Georgia.
Yep.
And I was wondering if you could look back at maybe like the last 5 or 6 years, probably going back when Eric Stokes was chosen, kind of look at all the other defensive players from Georgia that have been drafted and just see how well they have done versus our guys, because we have drafted quite a few. So I was wondering if you could kind of do a comparison of like guys like Steen, the safety for I believe Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, then there's I think a defensive tackle that went to the Eagles. Can't remember his name, but you know the most prominent defensive players for Georgia, what have they done after they've gone on from Georgia to the NFL? Because, we've chosen quite a few, and I'm just wondering how ours are stacking up to the other guys. I'm out.
Let me think here for 1 second. I don't know why I thought this, but I thought you could filter out what school they were from on PFF, but that's very incorrect. I don't think you can on SIS either. I mean, it's not a massive project, but it's enough that I don't know if I'm going to do it today. I could just easily go back over the last 4 years, something like that, and just, Control F, find Georgia. Could try to use the robot, but they'd probably miss some, and I don't want them to kind of get some wrong. I know what I can do. Look at that. Players picked out of Georgia. So we've got, where's Stokes here? So that was 2021. There are 42 Georgia players that were taken. We could probably narrow it down to earlier guys, because I don't know if we care about Mark Webb taken in the 7th round, Justin Schaefer in the 6th round, stuff like that, I tell you what, for the sake of today, let's look at first-round picks. So we got Brock Bowers we can't look at. We've got Nolan Smith, who went to Philly. Amarius Mims from Cincinnati. Broderick Jones went to Pittsburgh. You got Quay and Wyatt. Jordan Davis from Philly. We know he's looking fantastic. Jordan Davis is too. Jalen Carter went to Philly, also looking good. Lewis Seen, Trayvon Walker, and Eric Stokes. So what's the best way to do this? All right, so I've got most of them on this page here now. They are almost all defensive players, by the way. You got 2 offensive linemen, and that's it. Everyone else is defense. So the top guy is Jalen Carter, not surprisingly, as he's the only top 10 pick aside from Trayvon Walker. So in order of how everybody did last year, Jalen Carter was an 87.4, Jordan Davis 70.9, Lewis Seen was a 66.3. That's the Minnesota DB, although he played like 8 snaps. Then Devontae Wyatt, 59.6. Quay Walker, 58.5. Broderick Jones was a 57.3. Nolan Smith, 5.55. Trayvon Walker, the number 1 overall pick in 2022, was the second lowest at 53.9. Eric Stokes played a handful of snaps, 51.5. So there's some additional context with some of these guys. Some of them just didn't play. But, I mean, there's one premier player right now, and that's Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis looks pretty solid. Aside from that, I'm not really sure that there's any that are just tearing up the league right now. Might be some second, third round guys, I don't know, but I'm not going through all of that right now.
Hey, Ryan, it's Craig from Indiana.
Hey.
Hope things are going well. Hope you're having a good summer. You got me excited as I can get about a kicker with the kid from Michigan. I mean, his numbers and stats, it just made me wonder why someone with that history, big college, outdoor kicker, heavy pressure games, isn't drafted, and then Carlson, who didn't have that good of a record, is. Is it just based on potential? But it just seems crazy to me. The difference in their numbers seems to be pretty significant. So, even if he isn't our starting kicker, I hope we can keep him on the practice squad in case Andrews has a rough year again and the guy's ready to go. I wouldn't think someone else would pluck him off of the practice squad. That I get excited about him maybe being our backup. But I know there's some other kickers in camp as well. I had another question. Oh, what was it about? If we do keep the 3 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster, which it sounds like there's a chance we might, do we still need to have one on the practice squad? I know the one quarterback got converted to a wide receiver, so I don't know if we keep him and if he's at least there for whether it's scouting or just to be throwing balls with the other backup quarterbacks or whatever. But I was just, maybe we don't need to because you still have 3 total for practices and things. But it just kind of occurred to me when I was thinking about the quarterback situation. Anyway, super pumped about this year. Can't wait. I do have 4 tickets available if someone's interested for a preseason game against the Ravens.
Nice.
Maybe they could kind of work that through you or something, or ask for that on a podcast that I might be listening to. But so I wanted to offer those up to the Packernet group, and I'll just charge to the same price that I paid. And if someone wants to get to Lambeau for a game, I know it's preseason, but should be kind of a fun game with the Ravens. So just throwing that out there. Take care. Bye.
Yep, so if anybody wants, they can reach out to me and say that you're interested in Craig's preseason tickets. Otherwise, Craig, if you want, you can throw that up in the Packernet Facebook group. See if you get any takers over there or in the Discord if you're in there, wherever you got a Packernet group. Just as far as, permission is concerned or whatever, feel free to do that. You're a trustworthy fella, so I'm not worried about it. Yeah, the kicker thing, I don't exactly know either, and I know it's been that way for a while. I mean, if you just look at PFF, and again, you say, well, PFF, obviously, when you look at the grades, you kind of understand it. Like when we drafted Josh Myers, it's like, boy, he's like grading in the 60s in college. That's iffy, But it's like, well, grades don't tell the whole story, and it's about projection and all that. Oh, okay, fine. But when you got just like raw stats, and you got guys in college that are just crushing it. I mean, it's very easy to just look at like the percentages that they're hitting these things through. I mean, there are undrafted free agents that have better stats than guys like Anders Carlson. And again, I understand it's and that is what it is. It's projection. The only question I have is, is it me being stupid because I'm thinking too simplistically, or is it the coaching staff being stupid by not thinking simplistically enough, being too smart for their own good when the obvious answer is sitting right in front of you. And, obviously I'm hoping that it's the coaching staff being right and the projection is all there, but at the biggest thing, especially with kicker, because it's, if you're talking quarterback or wide receiver, it's a different game. It's a different game played with different people. Kicking is kicking, and if a guy can kick at maybe that's a little bit unfair. There's some differences, I don't know. But if a guy can do it in college, these college stadiums, there's more people there. They're louder stadiums. They have weather there, They have the same amount of stress in games. Again, you got kickers in championship games in massive stadiums, very loud, open stadium, no dome, adverse weather conditions, kicking a 55-yard game-winning field. What context is there? I don't have to worry about the game being faster or, the windows being smaller or any of that. None of that applies to a kicker. It's the same thing. Everybody has to stand still. You snap the ball, you run up, you kick it. And if a guy can do it in college, he can do it just transfer him over. I just don't see the purpose of taking on a project when you don't need to. But I guess if you think you can do better, then freaking go for it. I don't know what to say. I like to play it safe. The quarterback question, I got to go back and think about what you said for a second there. So if we keep 3, do we need 1 on the practice squad? Are you saying if we have 3 on the on 3 on the 53, then we don't need someone on the practice squad? I think you do, because the practice squad still serves a purpose, and that is to be the practice squad quarterback. Now, again, I don't know that it's necessarily required. For example, let's say you wanted a quarterback to be the guy that simulates next week's quarterback. So instead of preparing for the upcoming game, you're pretending to be Caleb Williams for the week. I would assume you could use a third quarterback for that. I guess the question for me would be, is it better to have a third quarterback or just put him on the practice squad? I know they do have the new rules now where it doesn't impact the who you dress, but it still impacts the 53. So I feel like you would rather just have them on the practice squad because you can always call them up. So you would have 2 quarterbacks and 1 on the practice squad, and when it comes time, if somebody gets injured, obviously if 2 get injured on game day, then there's a problem. But that's kind of the whole point. So I don't know. I would assume the answer is yes. You would still want a quarterback on the practice squad. On top of that, if there is a space, the Packers are going to want to fill it with a quarterback because they're always going to want to try to have somebody in there that they can try to develop. So in the hypothetical scenario that we have 3 quarterbacks on the 53, I still do believe they would put somebody on the practice squad. But haven't spent a lot of time looking into it or thinking about it, so I guess I don't 100% know, but that would be my expectation as I think about it right now.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey.
It's Joe the janitor.
Joe?
From Connecticut.
What's going on?
What's up, man?
What's up?
I haven't called in a little bit. It's been a little slow. Not much news. I do want to at least say congratulations to Mr. Policy.
Yeah.
Taking over for Mark Murphy in a year. I believe staying within the organization. Pick a new president is smart because he knows the Packer way, and I believe it will continue on the Packer way. So I know the last time I called, I mentioned this dumbass at work who's a Texans fan that used to be a Bears fan.
Sure.
So anyway, he did bet me $100 that the Bears would sweep the Packers and the Texans would also beat the Packers. So they would win those 3 games, and he'd get $100. One little loss, and I'd get $100.
That's
so I'm like, yep, after calling in and listening, yeah, of course, it's smart. I got to take that bet. There's no way the Bears are going to beat the Packers.
No.
But so when I agreed to the bet, this guy, he actually came back, and he's like, actually, I'll bet $100 that just the Bears sweep the Packers, and then I'll bet you another $100 that Texans win. And yeah, I don't know what to do there. I'm like, I'll keep the $100 on the Bears sweeping the Packers for sure. That makes it even easier for me because they're going to lose one of those games. I mean, the Texans, that's a tough one. But there's no way that the Bears aren't going to lose at least one game to the Packers. So hopefully I get $100 there. Anyway, things been pretty decent. In my new role as facilities maintenance, they still unfortunately have me scrubbing all the graffiti that the kids continually put on the walls every week. So that's still my job. My boss said that I'm just so good at it. No one else can scrub spray paint off of walls like me.
Sure.
Like, I don't know if that's an insult or if that's a good thing, but he did ask me how I get it so clean. You know what I mean? Like, what do I use it? What am I using? Well, I mean, I told him you got to just hawk to and scrub real hard, man.
Yeah,
a lot of scrubbing. Elbow grease too. Elbow grease. Anyway, I'll call back. Shalom.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they said, I'll only do the bet, $200, in other words, we have to do both bets, I think it would probably still be worth it, because the way I see it, let's just assume it's basically 100% that the Bears won't sweep the Packers. It's not, but let's just say that for the sake of easy math. Then it's about let's say 50% chance that you win $100. And it's a 50% chance... it's a 50% chance you win $200, and it's a 50% chance that you win $0 with almost no downside. But given the option to just choose one or the other, you probably did the right thing. Just take the easy money, $100, ditch the Texans one. I think that's the right move. But happy to hear you're still humming along there, Joe. We got to get you a Joe the Janitor song one of these days. Like I said, I have made one. That was one of the first songs I did. Thought it was pretty funny, but never published it. Same with Trucker Bob. Although I think we got a different Trucker Bob song that we did play. But we'll get there, man. We'll get there one of these days. Tell you what, why don't we take a break? We got 3 calls coming up from Trevor in Virginia, so that's what we'll do next. By the way, thanks to Mr. Carson Caldwell putting together another fantastic video with, of course, my incredible music abilities. Getting a robot to do all my work. We've got another video. It is a Jordan Love hype video. We will be waiting for Jordan to sign his contract for maximum effect. Then we'll drop the video. However, on Patreon, if you are on my Substack, if you subscribe there, or if you subscribe on YouTube, I appreciate all you guys, by the way. You'll be able to have early access to check out the video. Very, very excited. Again, Carson did a fantastic job. It's hard to not be able to have both ends of the process, because you kind of have a vision for it. You're not sure how it's going to turn out. You hope that he can kind of blend the video with the audio, but you don't really know until you see it in full. And this is the second time now. I think he did it also a great job with the Rashawn Gary one, just putting the right things in at the right time. Just really, really good job. So if you want to check that out now, that is how you can do it. Otherwise, get ready for that to drop when we get the news about Jordan Love's contract, which hopefully doesn't happen in the next 5 minutes, because then that will have deteriorated the value of that. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. You ever hear of test driving a phone network? Well, US Cellular is letting you test drive their nationwide 5G for free. Try out US Cellular wherever you have spotty service, your commute to work, that one spot in your house, or your service dips. It's as easy as doing a little beep boop pop boop pop with your phone. That's the buttons. That's the noise they make. Anyways, test drive US Cellular's nationwide 5G coverage for free for 30 days. Just download the Try Us app. US Cellular, built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com/tryus. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. You know, my son started collecting football cards. I had no idea what the heck I was doing, so I went out and bought him one of those binders you put all the cards in and all that kind of stuff. Turns out, card collecting has come a long way since when I was a kid, and that's what people did. Now, there is a new way to buy, sell, and trade cards. It's called Arena Club. Whether you're buying, selling, trading, or displaying, Arena Club is the all-in-one trading card platform that you have to sign up for. Over at arenaclub.com/packdaddy. We actually did a whole YouTube video about this. I would encourage you to check it out. It is a fantastic website. You can, as I said, you can buy, trade, sell, but also you can display all of your cards right there on the platform. It gives you all of the grading. They'll even grade your cards. Their grading combines AI as well as human grading to get the most accurate grading of all your cards. And right now, you can get 10% off your first purchase by going to arenaclub.com/packdaddy. That's arenaclub.com/packdaddy for 10% off your first purchase.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
Hey, Ryan, Trevor in Virginia.
Hey.
I don't know how easy or hard this is to look up, so don't spend a lot of time if there's not a quick look up in one of your databases that you have that you can search. But AI might even find the answer, really, which I can know myself. But I don't know what the record is for, like, most players on one team to have 10-plus sacks in a single season. And being completely overly optimistic, I mean, I think with this new defense and all, and just the talent we have on the defensive line, I'm going to make a bold prediction that we have 3 players of 10-plus sacks this year. And the 3 I see are Rashawn Gary. I think you can pretty much pencil him in if he's healthy for 10 sacks. A 10-sack year for him is honestly disappointing. I want to see, no more ACL worries. 10 years back this year under this new system, I would like to see 15 sacks from Rashawn Gary. I mean, to live up to the contract we gave you and all. And I know sacks are a fleeting stat, right? I get that, but if it's not 15 sacks, I want to see very high pressure numbers. But anyway, I also see Lucas Van Ness. I mean, people for some reason seem to be writing him off, kind of. I think he had a pretty good rookie campaign. He just had more of that old Packers approach where he wasn't thrust out there a bunch because we didn't need to. And I would have liked to see him out there more personally because seeing him like when he ran down Justin Fields, like you just see that athleticism. So anyway, Van Ness, and then I also think Kenny Clark. I think Kenny Clark's going to have a resurgence under this new system. Not that I don't really think he's ever been that bad. I think he's done the job he's been asked to do. I get he hasn't lived up to the contract from a production standpoint. But I just think for years we've given him no help along that line also. And I just think he's not been asked to be that go get the quarterback guy. So anyway, I could see the 3 of them all having 10-sack seasons. Obviously, if everything clicks right, and Van Ness gets attempts, which is to be seen. But I don't know. Just my thoughts on a bold prediction here while we're in no man's land waiting for things to come back. Go back up.
Well, it's certainly doable because I know PFF sack stats are slightly inflated because they don't. I believe this is the case. They don't count half sacks, which again I completely agree with. But according to PFF stats, Kenny had 10, Rashawn had 10, and Preston had 11. And that's with, a team that doesn't bring these pressures as much as Hafley is going to. And bear in mind, all we're really talking about is attempts. The attempts are going to go up. So if the total attempts are going to go up, whether that just because of more times you're rushing the quarterback or more people rushing the quarterback, either way, cumulative team attempts are going to go up, which you would assume that cumulative sacks would go up across the team. So if the sack rates stay the same, pressures to sack roughly, then yeah, definitely. So let's look at it. So Kenny had 10 sacks on 556 attempts. Rashawn had 10 on just 440, because remember, he missed a little bit of time. Preston had 11 sacks on 492. Devontae Wyatt had 7 sacks on just 370 attempts. So I believe in order to get him up to 10, you're looking at about 528 pass rush attempts, which is just under what Kenny had. As for Lucas Van Ness, he gets to 10 with just 393 attempts. That's significantly lower than everybody. Under 400 attempts. So Lucas is probably the best bet because he actually had a pretty high, what did he have? So 6 divided by what? 238? No, that's not right. Oh yeah, that's sack. 2.5% sack rate. Preston, who had the most sacks, was at 2.2. So yeah, Lucas Van Ness might be the best bet, unless his sack numbers were a little bit inflated, because I don't think his pressure numbers were all that fantastic. It was just over 10%. So I don't know how sustainable his high sack rate is going to be, but if it stays that way, then yeah, he may be your best bet, because again, he doesn't even need 400 snaps. And if you were to give him, let's just keep the number the same. Let's do 6 divided by, what is he at, 238. And let's give him Preston's attempt numbers. He's not going to get that many, but let's just do it anyways. 492. You're looking at over 12 to 13 sacks. So definitely doable. I think Preston's a good bet. Rashawn's a good bet. Kenny's a good bet. I think Wyatt and Van Ness are decent bets. Outside shot for a guy like Carl Brooks could happen. I do wonder if there's going to be less overall defensive tackle snaps going around because we are in a base 4-3. I know, I understand the nickel thing. I get all that. I'm just saying we are going to be in base. Let's say base is 25%. Well, that means for that 25%, instead of having 3 defensive tackles, you have 2 defensive tackles. It's going to make it. It's going to make a difference. I don't know, but certainly doable. Likely is another question, but doable for sure.
Hey, Ryan. You might already know about it. Trevor and Virginia here, but ESA, for Packers fans with kids out there, they have a kids club program thing that I just recently found out about from somebody else, and it's only like $25 a year, and they send your kid a player photo every year and stuff, and they send them a couple other things, and when your kids are I forget the age, but they're in a certain age range, they even get invited to come practice with the players one day a year. And yeah, it's cheap. It's obviously something they're doing. The kids interested in the Packers and everything. And I just never heard of it. Being in Virginia, it's kind of hard for me to get my kids up there for a player thing, but I definitely would probably make the trip one year when they're older. And yeah, I don't know. It seems like a cool program. I forget the exact name of it, of course, know what they called. But it's just like a Packers kids program, where you join in this kids club for the Packers. And they own some cool stuff and get some cool perks. And it's cheap. So anyway, go Pack Go.
I did know about it, and then I forgot about it, and so I got to look back into it. I remember because it was like when my son was real little. I was like, oh, that'd be cool, like when he gets older. And I kind of forgot about it until now. It's one of those things where I think they send that stuff in, like in your email. If you subscribe or whatever, they'll send you some stuff. I got to look back into that. Trevor, what else you got for us, Mike?
Hey, Ryan, Trevor, Virginia. You're just talking about how the people on X don't really comment on your live streams ever, and the reason for that is you can only comment on videos on live streams on X if you pay for whatever the membership is.
Really?
I'm not on X, so I don't know what it's called or whatever. It used to be Twitter Blue or something, right? So you pay for it. But
did not know that.
Unless you pay for it, you're not allowed to comment on live. So that's why I know my comments, because I don't know who. Most people probably don't pay for that. So anyway, go back up.
Well, that's good to know. I did not know that. Garrett in Southern Illinois is back on the line.
Hey, Back Daddy. It's Garrett from Southern Illinois. Just listening to the news, and you're talking about Ben Affleck moving out of J-Lo's house. So I guess you saw the movie and just said, I can't be married to somebody who acts that bad. So, but here's just a funny little fact to throw out there. J-Lo has been married more times than Green Bay has had starting quarterbacks since 1994.
Huh.
So if you're counting, that's Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now J-Lo. Jordan Love. Not Jennifer Lopez.
Good one.
Jennifer Lopez has been married 4 times.
All right.
So Green Bay is winning in that category.
J-Lo is not winning in that category, is what I learned from that conversation. She is failing spectacularly in that category. I tell you what, let's take our final break. We'll get back. We got Garrett, 1265 fan, and we'll see how much further beyond that we can get.
Hey, Ryan. Garrett from Southern Illinois. July 1st. And it's a happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
What day?
If you don't keep up with Major League Baseball, until 2035, Bobby Bonilla is under contract to receive $1.1 million every July 1st, like I said, until 2035. Now, talk about contracts that are spread out. I can't tell you when's the last time Bobby played, but it's been at least 10 years. So the guy is still making money. Must be nice. But just as a reminder, there's some really, really, really crazy contracts out there. So nobody needs to get bent out of shape when Jordan Love gets his paycheck. So, scared.
That's some pretty wild stuff. I did not know that. I've never heard of anything quite like that. I'll have to look into that a little bit. I will say, if that's sort of like in lieu of, you know what I mean? In other words, we can give you $20 million or 1.1 over 20 years or whatever. You should take the 20. You know, same reason why you take the lump sum, even though it's less from the lottery, because you're going to end up being able to invest that. Unless you just really don't trust yourself and you're like, look, I am a freaking idiot and I will blow everything. So give it to me in installments. But if it's just like a cherry on top, like, look, it's not a bad contract, but that team over there is offering me the same thing. How about this? $1 million every year till whatever on July 1st. Either way, it's dope. I don't have that, you know, and I would take it if I could, but I can't because nobody wants to give me that for any reason whatsoever.
Ryan.
Hey!
1265
What's up?
fan. So I put my sticker on my truck the other day and noticed that the current sticker is yellow. What I shouldn't say yellow. It's Packer gold.
What sticker?
So it matches my license plate and my
truck. The sticker
How sweet
sticker.
is that?
Yeah, that's good.
What's even nicer about that is since mine doesn't renew till June, I will have that sticker on my plate when I drive up for the draft.
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of cool. I like that
cool.
kind of stuff.
It's good stuff.
So another reason why I called is Andy Herman had a podcast this morning about Bo Melton.
Okay.
And I like Bo Melton. I think he's got a lot of talent. I mean, we have a talented wide receiver. I'm not sure if he'll make it, but the one thing I've always missed, Donald Driver left, was my ability to do the whole announcer name after a touchdown or a big play. So like Donald Driver would be Donald Driver.
Right.
So we haven't really had a name that I've been able to do that with until Bo Melton. I mean, how fun is that? Bo Melton, really?
So is it like one syllable first name? Oh, no, Donald is 2 syllables. So is it just like a 2-syllable last name? So you can do like, da. Is that like Melton? In which case, we have to have some. Reed is 1. Watson. Christian is kind of tough. I don't know why. Christian Watson. You can do Watson, though. What else do we have? We got Dontavian Wicks, which doesn't work. You've got Romeo Dobbs, which doesn't work. Jordy Nelson would work, right? Jordy Nelson. Devontae Adams. Yeah, Devontae Adams. There's a lot of 2-syllable last names. I don't know. I guess it doesn't meet your specifications of being as good as Donald Driver. I'm just saying, seems to me you could do it if you wanted to. Interestingly enough, I was actually really upset because my name doesn't work at all. Schlip, you can't do it. I remember thinking like maybe everybody just feels like, if you did like the walkout thing or it doesn't sound cool. No, it's just not conducive. It doesn't work, which is sad. You can't do it. Whatever. But like Wix has the same conundrum. It's one syllable. Dontavian. I mean, you can't, Wix. But it's not the same. But I think you could do it with Adams, Watson. Any 2-syllable thing should work, I would think.
As the name, I can scream. I love it.
Careful.
Anywho, that's kind of all I talked about. But what was funny is at the end of Andy Herman's broadcast or his podcast about this, he had mentioned how he thinks Bo Melton is a working man's Donald Driver, whatever that means, or a similar player to like a Donald Driver, which is hilarious because they both have names you can stadium call out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
you know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, how fun is that? Anywho, I know I'm a little weird, but I like to have fun with my Packers, and so I'm always that announcer in the stands when there's a big play, and I'm loud, and it's fun, and okay, I should go. Bye.
There's a lot of things that happened in that call just now, but I appreciate everything about 1265 fan in the calls. You know what I mean? It's good. It's good times. I didn't see the Herman thing, so I don't exactly know what the arguments for being the working man's Donald Driver would be. I mean, my current stance on Melton is predictably somewhat skeptical, right? I know he's become a fan favorite, and even outside of Green Bay, which is, one of the things that's caused me to kind of take notice. There are a lot of people outside of Green Bay that are like, no, dude, Bo Melton is for real. Like he's solid. Not that would be the first time ever that people jump on a bandwagon that's stupid, and it's like, oh, obviously that didn't work. But again, I mean, it just kind of comes down. I mean, he's fast, which is great. And if you can get a guy that's blazing fast that just happens to be like, oh, he figured it out and he's good now, that's not a bad thing to have happen. And it's possible because it has happened, just rarely. My issue is, again, he was a 7th-round pick. He got let go. He got picked up by the Packers. He wasn't believed in by the Packers. He only got put in because a bunch of guys got hurt and he was needed. And then as soon as Christian came back, he was taken out immediately. He graded out well, but it was just on the back of like 2 or 3 games. Granted, it was the only time he actually played significant snaps, but the other games he did not grade out very well, and it's small sample size. And beyond that, even if he is decent, what are the opportunities that he's going to be given in this offense pending more injuries? I don't know. I remain skeptical, but obviously optimistic. He's a Green Bay Packer. I want him to be dominant. I just I'm not laying my chips down on that one, because if I had to guess, we're well less than 50% that he's going to be a high impact player for the Green Bay Packers.
Hey Ryan, it's Garrett from Southern Illinois.
Sup?
Just wanted to put a little bit of a safety reminder to all those Packernet listeners. Don't do what Jason Pierre-Paul did and blow off some hot dogs off his hand. Be careful out there. Be responsible. Don't drink and then shoot off fireworks.
Sure.
Do the right thing. Have a happy 4th of July. I'm out.
A little bit late, but that's my fault, not your fault. Plus, people probably have leftover fireworks. People shoot off fireworks for like the next week after the 4th. We actually did ours on the 5th because it's become a tradition that it rains every 4th of July. I think this is the 3rd year in a row where it's either canceled or postponed, or they do it, but it's raining and it's kind of abbreviated or whatever, or delayed. But it happened again. And then on the 5th, sure enough, they did it again, but it started to rain again. Kind of powered through it. It was a light rain. Fortunately, it kind of calmed down enough so we could do our fireworks. But yeah, it was fun. It was good. It was the first time we actually went out and got, we didn't get like massive crazy fireworks like some of our neighbors have, which is dope, but we had some more fun ones, more than just like the little kid sparklers and stuff. We went out, they're called like the fountains, I think they're called. So pretty relatively small. They don't really shoot up into the air, but they shoot up maybe 2-3 feet and kind of out a lot further than I thought. I was standing probably 2-3 feet back. I needed to be about 5, 6, 7 feet back. These things are really going. But no, that was pretty cool. We bought a pack of them for not that much money, maybe $40 or something, and then we bought one that was like $40 by itself, just kind of one big. But they were all fun. This is like all they had. I was telling my wife to get, we can get something cooler. She's like, that's all I got. So I guess that's what you get when you go to like a department store as opposed to like the cool tents that actually sell cool stuff. But no, it was fun. We had a good time, and family was out there, and kids had set everything up. We got chairs set up and blankets and snacks. Of course, all that got rained on, but it was a good time. Mosquitoes actually were rough for a little while, but you mix in all the smoke. It was actually kind of funny because, you got the street with all the street lights. We were the only ones on our street lighting off fireworks, and we were at the end of the street with the wind blowing down the other way. So you look, and it's like, holy crap, dude, we were smoking out the whole neighborhood. But it was fun. It was a good time. It's a good 4th. Good 4th. Aside from the part where my youngest just was not interested, and I've never experienced it. No fear, right? Loud banging noises, no fear whatsoever. Not like, oh, that's too loud. Didn't care. Just had no interest in watching them. Never experienced that in my life. Carson Caldwell, Mr. Carson himself of the famed Carson Caldwell YouTube channel. I think that's the name of the channel, right? I think so. Make sure you subscribe. He is also the creator of these videos we've been putting out, which I'm very excited about. I like doing it. I'm enjoying the work he's doing. I like making the songs. I'm hoping he's enjoying it too, because I don't want him to stop, because that would suck.
What's going on is Carson from Cleveland, Ohio. I've not called in quite some time. The last time was May 5th. I just checked. And yeah, I just want to call in, and I've been listening every day still. I just haven't really been calling in. But I've officially graduated high school since the last time that I called in.
Hey!
So I'm a grown adult, 18 years old, graduated high school. I'm not starting college until the spring semester, so I'll be able to just kind of sit back, enjoy myself a little bit. I'm working. But yeah, I don't have to go to school again until after the football season is over. So excited about that. But yeah, I'm just working through this time, making some YouTube videos about the NFL and the Packers as well. And just kind of enjoying my life a little bit. But I am making the Rashawn Gary edit tonight, actually.
By the way, curious, what are you going to school for, and where are you going to school? You don't have to say that if you don't want to. But also, just so you know, I sent him the music, and I was like, hey, man, check it out. Tell me what you think. Do what you can do. And he's like, all right, man, it'll probably take me a couple of days. I'm like, that's fine. It's not a big deal if it takes 3-4 days, whatever. And he sent a follow-up email. He's like, I'm too excited about this. I'm just going to get it done tonight. And he did. So he just stayed up like all night doing that. So good stuff, man. I'm excited about it.
Obviously, tomorrow is the 4th of July, and so I don't have much going on tomorrow, so I'm going to stay up late tonight and work on that. I'm very excited for what that's going to look like. The song is awesome. Right now, the only one that's heard it out of all of the Packernet listeners. So, yeah, I'm very excited to get it done. I also was thinking about how Caleb Williams would really, really benefit from listening to the Packernet podcast. All these tampon commercials, I think he would really find it handy to get some of those. So you might want to send him the podcast. He can get himself some tampons. I know he might need some. So, but yeah, with the Jordan contract too, that has not happened yet as I'm calling in. Hopefully it can get done soon, but I'm so excited for the season to start. And yeah,
Carson,
go Pack, go.
What did you do to me? Oh man, I hope that got you a bunch of subscribers, but that you might have killed me on that one. I'm sorry, that's funny. It's offensive. Yeah, that's what makes it funny. I know it's offensive. It's funny. All right? I'm sorry. I can't help that it's funny. What do you want me to do about it? I can't not laugh. It's involuntary. If it's funny, the friggin' brain nervous system thing kicks in and I laugh, man. Blame my brain. Blame Carson saying horrible, horrible things and forcing me to laugh at it. I'm offended. I don't know about you. I'm pissed. I will totally be suing him for that. I was involuntary. I can't help it, man. When you say something that is offensive and funny, you should be in big trouble for that, because you force people to laugh at inappropriate things. That's not right. Can't be doing that stuff. Jeez. By the way, there is a rule banning that word on this podcast, just so you know. Just don't say it. All right? I don't know. Yeah, it's funny though. That's freaking funny.
Hey Ryan, TJ from Alabama. 2 weeks away from the start of real football again, so I figure I'll ask you 2 dumb questions. Okay. So the questions though just are purely Packer fan questions. So this is put on your Packer fan hat, not football analyst, not who's better or any of that. It's just as a Packer fan, what do you think? So question number 1, and I'm going to use Justin Jefferson as, best receiver in football. I think that's arguable, but obviously he's in the top 2 or 3 without question. So question number 1 is, if Minnesota gave the Packers Justin Jefferson, you can't trade him, you can't move him for value, you got to pay him $35 million a year starting this year, would you take him for free? As far as, obviously talent-wise, it's a no-brainer, but as far as $35 million a year, which I realize is the least part of that, he obviously goes in the locker room. He obviously is, quote-unquote, the number 1 wide receiver, a true number 1. But obviously you got to feed him the ball. He's got to mix in with all of our other current receivers, our tight ends, and I don't mean personality-wise. I mean just you got to get him the ball. Clearly he's not going to be as happy with, a Jaden Reed or a Christian Watson type of number of passes and so. So Justin Jefferson for free as a Packer fan, would you just say, yep, take him, I'll figure it out, but you got to pay him the $35 million and yada, yada. The second question.
The answer is yes. I would do that. The cost is not really an object. I mean, these are good problems to have. Anytime you have to pay an exorbitant amount of money because somebody's that good, the answer is yes. The answer that in reverse. If Justin Jefferson was on this team, would we trade him? No. It's why we never traded Devontae, right? It's like, well, what about the expensive cost or whatever? And I understand the other guys, but frickin' oh well, right? There's a pecking order. Justin Jefferson is the focal point of the offense. And then you got Christian Watson, who is the speed guy, and he's a really good speed guy, and he's going to clear things out. And of course, Jaden Reed's going to play a pretty pivotal role as well as the tight ends and all that. But yeah, 100%. Does that suck for Wicks? Does that suck for Dobbs? 100% it does. For whatever it means to their snap counts. But it is what it is, man. I mean, it just, if you have the opportunity to have a guy like that on your roster, you take it.
Similar in nature.
Okay.
Same thing, just as a Packer fan, not as anything else. Straight up trade Jordan Love for any other quarterback in the league. Not who's better. As a Packer fan, would you trade Jordan Love for any other quarterback in the league, including Patrick Mahomes? Would you trade Jordan for Patrick right now? Sure, Patrick's better. But, we drafted Jordan.
Right.
We grew him up.
Right.
We're playing this whole story right now of we traded Rodgers and Jordan's the third in the line, and the whole story, the whole Packer fandom, the whole everything. Would you just basically throw all that away for boom, Patrick Mahomes? We would be immediately probably the favorite in all of the NFL for the Super Bowl. Yada yada. What would you do it? Would you trade Jordan Love for anybody right now? Being a Packer fan. That's it. Thanks. Bye.
Man, that's tough. I mean, I love the Jordan Love thing, man. I'm so happy with the situation we're in. I'm so happy to get 3 in a row. I'm so happy because I think his ceiling is sky high. I think he can be as good or better than Mahomes. I know that sounds stupid, but again, remember, depending on what metrics you're looking at, Mahomes is like the 5th or 6th best quarterback last year. He's really, really, really talented. But we can't get into this idea that he is by far the elite number one. I mean, he has been for many years. He wasn't last year. I don't know that he will be this year. I don't know if he will be next year. I like the chances we have. Now, if you strictly, if you didn't give me those strict parameters of you, can't think as a fanalist or an analyst or whatever, but you have to think as a fan, I probably would trade from home. I don't know outside of that if I'd trade for anybody else. Maybe Stroud, not because he's better, but just because he's younger and on a rookie contract. I don't know how many other guys I would trade just because I like where he's at. Joe Burrow has the injury issues. I love him as a quarterback, but I don't know. Maybe Herbert. Listen, when I say that I think Jordan Love has elite ceiling, I mean that. I really do. And we all saw it. But if you give me those parameters and say, as a fan specifically, I don't think I make the trade for anyone. I'm beyond content with where we're at. I'm willing to let the chips fall where they may. I don't want to lose out on that experience, right? So, the bottom line is, if you said as an analyst, if you're the GM and you have an opportunity to just one-for-one swap Mahomes and Love, I would do it and I would cry as I did it, right? It would just be like a miserable experience. But just as a thought experiment, no, I don't think so. I don't envy anybody. I don't sit there and say, man, Jordan's cool, but man, I wish we had that guy. I really don't. Now, if things go south this year, will I? Of course. But from where I'm sitting right now, there's no other quarterback I'd rather have quarterbacking this team than Jordan Love. I'm so excited to see what he can do. I'm excited to see him get better than he was last year. I'm excited to see him potentially win, strive to win MVP, to hear those conversations. I'm fully invested in that, and that is exactly what I want this year. That's what I want. So, anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. Apologies for any audio issues over those last several calls. I realized after this entire break, so Garrett 1265, Garrett Carson, and part of TJ, that I wasn't actually recording any of their audio. So I had to go back and redo all of that, and there were some weird issues with getting feedback noises, so I had to kind of play my voice in the background, which I'm sure there was an echo, which was annoying, and I apologize. But now that I've gone through that twice, which was super annoying, I'm going to call it for tonight. Please keep the calls coming. We still got plenty. We have 14 calls, but we'll get caught up very soon, so if you're kind of just waiting for these to get caught up or whatever, make sure to not do that. Just get your calls in. So have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.